Renato Atyas. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? How are you?
I am very well. Thanks for inviting me to stay with you here in this interview. I'm very glad to be here.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. We are going now to talk about Brazilian anthropology and your researchers and your projects and everything. But first, I will do a brief. I'll talk briefly about your work and your life as an anthropologist, and then I'll ask you the questions and you can start answering. So, Renato Atyas holds a PhD in anthropology from the University of Paris, Paris-Nanterre, and a postdoctoral degree from the universities of Paris-Nanterre School of Higher Studies in Social Sciences in Paris also, and of William and Mary College in the US, with CNPq, CAPES, and Fulbright Foundation scholarships. He is currently a researcher at the National Research Council, CNPq, professor in the postgraduate program in anthropology at the Department of Anthropology and Museology at the Federal University of Pernambuco, and also he is a professor in the Inter-University Master at the University of Salamanca, Spain. Renato is also vice president of the Commission on Museums and Cultural Heritage of the International Union of Anthropological and Ethnological Sciences. He is an active member of the Society of Anthropology for the Lowlands of South America and member of the Brazilian Association of Anthropology as well. And as well, the National Graduate Association in Social Sciences. He is the director of the Center for Studies and Research on Ethnicity at the UFPE, at the Federal University of Pernambuco. He researches and publishes on the themes of ethnicity, inter-ethnic relations, indigenous ethnology, visual anthropology, and the field of cultural heritage with indigenous populations, gypsy people, ethnic minorities in the Amazon, and in the state of Pernambuco in Brazil. He maintains 2 channels in which he publishes his texts on the internet that will be described in the subtitles of this video. So, hello.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So I'll start with the first question. I would like you to tell us about your PhD research project that you started in 1972 with the Hupda, who are one of the several indigenous peoples that inhabit the Brazilian Amazon. And I would like you to tell us about the indigenous people, the Hupda, and also about yourself as an anthropologist and researcher in the middle of the Brazilian dictatorship that started in '64. Please.
Thank you very much. And I would like, if it's possible, Jženina, if you can make me co-host.
Of course.
Co-host, and I can share with you a map that would be important for you to locate more or less where I am. I have been for several years with indigenous people, native peoples, or Amerindian. There are different names.
Oh, I made you co-host.
Okay, and yes, I started to contact and to be with the Hupda in the how to say in the end of the 70s, you know, and the 70s was a very difficult time for all of us here in Brazil, because we are in the middle of the dictatorship. It was a very, very hard time for intellectuals to have even to be at the university. That time was really difficult for us here in Brazil. I went, my first time when I went to the Amazon was really in the beginning of the 70s. And it was really difficult time to get there, because the only possibility to get there was to fly in the military airplanes. You know? And if you can see here, I think a little bit of the state of the Amazon in Brazil. You can see the border, and the border of this part of Brazil is the border with Colombia and Venezuela. And you can see I'm trying to make bigger the map that will be useful for us. Let me see if I manage to do that. I'm not know exactly how to do, but I think it's okay now. You can see the map. The map is the state of the Amazonas in Brazil. And if you look here, the border with Venezuela, the border with Colombia, the border with Peru, and the border with Bolivia. Okay, that is very important, because what I'm trying to explain, to say to you, but the border is for us. It's a political border for us. But the indigenous people who live in this area, there is no border. Okay, and we managed to stay with there. I know that the other side of the river is Colombia, but the indigenous people who live there does not mean nothing for them, because sometimes they know that some Brazilian gives something to them, or the other way is not Brazil, it's Colombia that come. And they receive both. Colombia and Brazil, they receive very well both people that they want to know more. Okay, and the area is a very important area here near up Rio Negro area, because the Rio Negro here is the mouth of the Rio Negro. Here's the Amazon, and the Rio Negro goes up to the Venezuela, and you can go to the Rio Negro, and here, for example, we can see three borders. One side Brazil, the other side is Colombia, the other side is Venezuela. It's a place called Cucuy. It's a very nice place. I have been several times there. And here, this bit here is Colombia, one side, the other side is Brazil. But the people who live in Colombia, the people who live in Brazil, is the same people, the same language, okay? And I have been working in this area here that I call, in my works, my papers, my books, I'm called this area the interfluvial area of the river Chiquié and the river Papuri. Here, there is a nice, I like, because I know the language, I know them for many years, I understand them, they understand me very well, and they are called Hupda. They call themselves Hupda. But the other indigenous people who live, the neighbors, they don't call Hupda. They have other names to to represent this Hupda Indian. Okay, indeed, my first time was in 1972 that I went for here, and from there until now, I have been practically every year in this place, and I know very well how they live and how they all the relationship between the Hupda and the neighbor. And yes, I know that's my main field, if you want, in terms of anthropology, is the work with these indigenous people or the Amerindian in that area. And also I know all the anthropologists that work in Colombia and Venezuela. I know them very, very well, because we make exchange of our research, and we attend the same meeting. Sometimes we have a very good relationship with all of them. Okay. And I don't know if you want to clarify one thing more about this. Then I go to share another map to be sorry to be.
No, it's okay. It's nice to see the maps. You can continue.
On the other, I am sharing another map more close to understand how the Hupda live among all those people.
While you are showing the map, I wanted to ask you, you said that they speak the same language, but in Brazil they are called Hupda, and at the other country, at the other side of the river, how they call themselves?
Yeah, no, they call themselves Hupda. The Hupda call themselves Hupda, but the other Indian, the other Amerindia who lives nearby, they don't call Hupda. Sometimes they have different names to name the others. You know, sometimes they call Peoná, sometimes they call Macu. That's you can also read some of the others name. If you look to the anthropological literature about the Hupda, you can see different names. But the most important is to know that they call themselves Hupda. Hupda means people. Okay.
Hupda means people. They call themselves people.
Yes. They call human. You say human.
Yeah.
That also means human. Okay. Here is the area that is the Hupda. You know, there's in this area we have at least 23 indigenous groups, 23 ethnies. Okay, the Hupda are part of the language that we call Macu, or we can call Nada Hupda. There are 6 people or 6 groups of the same, more or less the same language, and they live nearby. So the Hupda, they live here between the Chique River and the Papuri River, that area here. The Yohupda, they're not people, it's not the Hupda, but the Yohupda, they live in the right side of the Chiquié. They live here. They speak a language more or less like the Hupda, but it's different. It's not the same language. There's many words different, but if you understand well Hupda, we can also understand a little bit of your Hupda, okay? And here, nearby to São Gabriel da Cachoeira, live the Dao. The Dao, they have the same, they are part of the same linguistic family of the Hupda, but they don't live not close to the Hupda. They live very, very far away from the Hupda. Okay, but the language is more or less. For me, it's very difficult to understand Dao, but I know when I'm listening to Dao, I understand some words. But I'm saying this is Dao. I know make a difference between Dao, between your Hup, between Hupda. I know that's you are Dao. I know because the language. And this river here, they are called Japura. And nearby, there is another group called Nadub. Nadub. Also, Nadub is part of the same linguistic family of the Hupda. Okay, in Brazil side, the side of Brazil. Okay, the Yohupda, they are also living in Colombia, the Yohupda. But the Hupda, no, there is no Hupda living in the Colombia. The Hupda living only here. But in this place here, there is another group, another indigenous group from the same family of the Hupda that we call Kakwa. The Kakwa, they live in this place here. When they speak Kakwa, I understand that Kakwa is different from Hupda, but I know where the place, I know some how they are organized, I know. And in this side here, in the Colombia, near to the river called Enirida, there is another group from the same family of the Hupda. We can call them as Nukak. Okay? So in the whole world, when you speak the family, the indigenous family, the Hupda, the Maku, we say there is 6 people. The Kakwa, the Do, the Yohup, the Hupda, the Kakwa, and the Nukak. Okay? Just to say that it's a different place, different people, different language, but more or less same family. And in this area, also there is a big linguistic family called Arawak. The Arawak, all the Arawak people, they are located in this river here. That called Isana, and this river here called Ayari. In the Bassin, in this area, live all the Arawak people. And they are more than 6, and they are much more. You know, the Baniwa, the Kuripaco, Hohodani, Silsi. There are more people in this area, and all belongs to the linguistic family that we call Arawak. Arawak is a big family. It's a big linguistic family. There are a lot of people not in Colombia, more in Colombia, more in Venezuela, in Panama, in States, United States, in South Brazil. This is a big linguistic family, Arawak. And it's a big family. And in this place here, in the Walpes is a big place. The Walpes It's a big river that starts more or less here and go up a place here in Colombia. The linguistic family called Tucano, the Tucano. And the Tucano family, linguistic family, is bigger than everywhere. If you put all together from Colombia, Venezuela, and Brazil, but that maybe we can say 11,000 people. Okay, this is a big. It's a big. And the Tucano, Pratapuya, Tuyu, Carapaço, Cubeu, Wanano. Okay, it's a lot of people. Okay, and all of them knows the Rupda, and they push the Rupda to live in the interior of the forest. Okay, the Rupda people live in the interior of forest, and the Arawak people and the Tucano people, they have the village in the big rivers. Okay, the house, the big house, they are in the big. The Rupda, they have the house inside. They go, it's inside. They don't have they don't have much technology of the canoe, of the navigation river. They know very well the trail. They know very well how to walk inside the forest. They know everywhere. And for them, this area is a mix-up of the trail that they are linked. They can go by walk so many places inside of the forest. It's different of the Tucano, because the Tucano people, they need always to have a canoe to go. The people, they don't use the canoe, they go only by themselves, walk in the forest. Okay, this is a very important difference, and that means two different technology in terms of the understanding. If you look to the people from the river, they use the canoe to go there. I say they have a very, very nice and a very important technology of fishing technology. But if you look to the Rupda, they are very nice and they have very good, very important technology of hunting. Okay, and how they operate inside the forest. Okay, if you see, you look to them, you can see all the specialities that they have. Also means the different kind of relationship with the cosmos or the cosmology. So two different cosmologies, not the same, but they are very close. They live together. They understand each other. They have links of contract of working. They work most of the time. The Tucano people contract the Rupda to work with them. Okay, they pay for the Rupda to come to work for them. You know, it's kind of business we can see, and between them, or between these two different ways how to look themselves in the environment. Okay, that is very important, and that is my field in terms of research. My research, I start to work in that area. Just look very closely this relationship between the Tucano group, or the Tucano indigenous people there, and the Rupda, and how these relations are operated, and how they live together, more or less in the same environment, but with the very different and important difference in terms of the cosmos. That was my research, not only for my doctorate, but I'm still working in this field. If you are. Okay, that is just to give you a kind of a flavor of my research in that area.
this is very interesting because I intended to ask you about the cosmology, because we think that because they live in the same geographical area, they will think likewise, and their cosmology, their religion, all their believings will be likewise. But you just said it wasn't. So can you talk a little bit more, like five minutes about the cosmology of the Hupda? And maybe we can show a video from YouTube if you want.
Okay. Look, the Hupda, as they have the forest as environment, it's not the river, but the forest. The cosmology of the cosmos for them is a very flat way. It's it's a big place, okay? And everything in this place, like this, you know, if you walk there and maybe you follow love the other side, because it's a complex of a kind of a big platform, a very big platform. And all these things that is inside of this platform that is linked to the cosmos is linked to the universe by the liane, by the support liane, by four vegetables, the four important vegetables that kind of they maintain this platform well linked to the big universe. You know, one is the tobacco. The tobacco is the vegetable that is linked to the big cosmos. The other one is a kind of vegetable that we produce a little powder that we use to inhale here in the image, and you aspire, and that you have a different situation that you can move to the other place to understand yourself, or that is used, is the second vegetable that are linked to them. And the third one is a kind of vegetable that you prepare to drink. It's a kind of tea that you drink and that you use also to have a kind of to be outside of the consciousness. And that most of the people call this vegetable that we drink, they call ayahuasca. Most of the time. In this area that I'm working, they don't call ayahuasca. You know, it's not the name. That's most of the white people that give to ayahuasca. And the fourth vegetables is a very important one for all of the humanity needs to have that to be not to be conscious, but to be equilibrated in the whole world is the coca leaf. Coca leaf. The coca, you know coca? Not the cocaine, coca.
No, I know.
Okay?
Yes, the plant.
The plant. Okay, these four vegetables, it's very important vegetable for the Hupda, because all the vegetable is the four sides, or the four corn of the world. They are linked to the big universe with this vegetable. Without these vegetables, this platform does not sustain. This platform is full of, you know, needs to have this vegetable. And in this platform, in this course, there is three kinds of life. One life that's up the platform, and one life is inside the platform, like the like the ants. You know the ants? They live inside the land. This is a kind of beings that's very important. All the kind of ants and termites, they are called also people. They are people. The ants, they are people. And that you have a different kind of understand about the hoopda, because the distinction that we call human and not human, for them, it's all part of the same universe, all part of the same world, and there is no difference. And ant and human beings who are human, everybody is human, everybody is people, everybody has life. You know, that is a very important thing in terms of understanding. One day, if you really understand this, there is no difference that we all the time in our way, in our word, we emphasize this difference for them. When you understand there is no difference, that you understand a lot of things for them. You have now understand most 50% of the whole cosmology of the hoopda, if you understand the human and non-human relation, or how they are related to each other, and how they are together in living in the same place. You know, that is very important in terms of the whole understanding about the hoopda people in that area, and everything is linked to that. And the words, because we pronounce the word, we speak, and all the words have some power. And this power depends of the people who is pronounced, because how is his or her power, and there is a kind of the transformation, and they use the word to transform things. Okay, the words is very important, because there is no much more. The word is not concrete. The words are very, very concrete, because not express on not one idea, one symbol, but also express a way of being in this area, in this environment. You know, that's the cosmology of hoopda. Is very big. Than if you mean the whole relationship of the whole animals that we call animals, but they call beings. You know, it's very important for them to have a contact, not only physical, and but also they understand the whole in this planet, in this platform that I call planet.
It's really interesting to hear that, because nowadays, especially in the United States, but also here in Israel a little bit, anthropologists are more and more trying to make flat researchers, like to make researchers that are symmetric and not dualistic. It's not non-human and human. We see everything together as gatherings, you know, as assemblages. And the hope that this is how they see the world. So it's really interesting. And I want to show now the movie, the short movie you made about the coca. So everyone can see while I'm putting the video to play. I will say that Rnnato, to everyone that is watching, Rnnato has a YouTube channel where he puts all the short films and all the visual, his visual research in the YouTube, so you all can see. You just have to write Rnnato Atias and you can see it now. So we now will see the movie Fragmentos de Diário de Campo, fragments of a field diary, I would say in English. And here we can see how they make the coca, right? Am I right?
Yes, how they make the powder.
The powder. So let's watch, and then we will continue to the next question.
Fazia mais de 10 anos que eu não visitava a aldeia de Pombo Igarapé, onde mora Messias. Ele é Rupda. Ele faz parte de um povo da floresta na região do Alto Rio Negro. Os Rupda vivem entre o rio Papuri e o rio Tiquê, no estado do Amazonas, Brasil. São dispersos em mais ou menos 30 grupos locais, vivem nessas casas individualizadas por núcleos familiares. Messias hoje está sozinho na aldeia, enquanto todos os homens e mulheres foram buscar alguma coisa para comer. Ele toma conta das crianças que não estão na idade de andar na floresta. Ele me convidou para ir junto com ele buscar folhas de coca para comer. Eu perguntei se podia levar a câmera para filmar uma sequência de imagens sobre a preparação do purrum, que é a coca, o pó de coca, comida tradicional dos Rupda. Colhemos uma quantidade suficiente de folhas que desce para preparar uma lata pequena de pó de coca e logo em seguida iríamos comer. O processo de preparação não é simples. É feito geralmente no interior ou no fundo de uma das casas. Pega-se a folha de coca recém-tirada, coloca-se para secar. E uma maneira mais simples e mais rápida de secá-las é colocá-las dentro de uma panela e junto ao fogo se vai misturando essas folhas recém-tiradas e com o movimento das mãos faz com que as folhas se tornem bastante crocantes. Logo em seguida, depois que as folhas estão bem secas, coloca-se no pilão. É um pilão feito de madeira em geral, uma madeira de lei bem forte. Os Rupda gostam de fazer o pilão com pau-brasil. Ao colocar as folhas no pilão, se soca até que se torne bastante fina, até que se torne um pó. Logo em seguida, isso já se traz quando se vem com a folha de coca, já se traz da floresta folhas secas de embaúba. Essas folhas secas de embaúba, elas serão incineradas e as cinzas dessas folhas serão colocadas junto com a coca que está já pilada no pilão. Pega-se as cinzas da folha de embaúba e coloca-se juntamente com a coca no pilão e torna-se a piloar, de tal maneira que a coca e as cinzas se tornem em uma mesma textura. Depois desse movimento, que é bastante duro e demorado, esse conteúdo vai passar pelos poros de uma cortiça. Neste caso, não havendo cortiça, utiliza-se uma camiseta que estava ali por perto, tão bem quanto uma cortiça. Nesse movimento de bater dentro do pilão, o pó vai soltando, vai saindo pelos poros da camisa, tornando-se pronto para ser comido. Nós comemos um pouco da coca, esperando os outros que estavam chegando. Alguns traziam peixes, as mulheres traziam a mandioca, e em seguida as mulheres vão tirar a casca da mandioca para depois ralar, passar em uma peneira e em seguida preparar o beiju. Esse é o cotidiano dos Rupta. Alguém com as crianças fica na aldeia, os adultos saem, vão procurar comida e voltam, e no final da tarde todos se encontram ao redor do fogo para comer o que trouxeram.
Very nice. Wow, I didn't know they eat. I saw this movie 1 month, 2 months ago, and I didn't. Eu não lembrei. I didn't. I forgot this word in English, but I was surprised again that they eat the powder. You know, it's wow. And this was made in 1997. In the same, I can't hear you.
The film was made in 97. That's right.
Yes.
But this edition is 2001 because I put together only in 2001 the edition, the editing to make this film. But when I filmed this, I filmed in 1997, and I came from the village, from the Rupta village. I stopped in a Tucano village, the other side of the river that called Umari. And I was with my camera or my cables or what. And I went in the village, and the Tucano people who lived in this place, at this moment, they used to have a television to see a soap opera, a novella, soap opera there. And I I went to the chief. Look, I was very naive, very naive. I went to say, look, I have here a little film about the Hupda who lives in there, the other side of the river, and the people, of course, the Tucanos say, we know very well who is the Hupda, but it's impossible. In our television, the Hupda, they can't go inside of our television, the Hupda. No, not our television. Only the people from São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro come inside of our television. It's impossible to have the Hupda inside of the television. I say, no, yes, I have a cable here. With this cable, I can put my camera and link it to the television. And you say, no, it's impossible. Impossible because our satellites, the capture of the satellites, the people coming from the satellites they come from São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro from the satellites go to our television. How you can put the Hupda inside of the television? That was in my head was a kind of technical question. For them, that was a different kind of questions, not technically, but I managed and I put the film, and they saw my Messias try to go to the cock, and then I say, what's happening? Yeah, and they explained to me all the film, but not the people. They explained how the butterfly. Look, this butterfly. You have seen this butterfly. I have no seen the butterfly at all, but it appears in a certain moment there is a butterfly, and the old people look to the butterfly. I'm sure that that was a butterfly, and everything they want to speak about the butterfly, but not about the people, because it's different relationship between the Hupda and the Tucano. They have a asymmetrical relationship, and that was very good to have the Hupda inside the television that they don't believe that would be possible, but it was possible. And also, when they see the Hupda, they don't see the Hupda, they see the butterfly. What I spent most of my thesis was about this kind of asymmetrical relationship between Hupda and the Tucano people in this area.
Nice. I wanted to ask you about, you talked a lot about the languages that they have, that you can understand some, the Hupda language, and so you can understand some of the indigenous languages around, but not all, and not everything. And I heard, I know that you were active in the process of transliterating the language of the Hupda until the formation of a dictionary of this language. And I wanted to know, what do you think, first of all, how was this process that you were engaged in, transliterating a language, an indigenous language, so everyone can read and learn? And also, what do you think it's the role of the anthropologist when she or he arrives at his or her place of research?
Okay. I started to work with, to have a project, to work with them in 1996, 97. We started the dictionary in 2001, and the different projects we have with the Hupda, always together, always in discussion with them, was all the steps of this discussion with them. And at that moment was important for the Hupda to have the school, to have the one school, because what at that time was the indigenous people, Tucano, they had the school. If the Hupda live very close to the Tucano, the Tucano allow them to come in the school. But it's not a Hupda school, it's a Tucano school, you know. And we decide with other anthropologists and with the organization. First, we raise money. We raise money to set up the project and to start the schooling process of the whole Hupda. And we managed to do that. And in order to have a school in terms of culturally adequate, and we need to make to transform the language that is only talking oral, the oral language that is the written language. That is very difficult. It's very, very difficult to work to do. And that took 4 years. 4 years to have all the analysis, phonetical analysis, morphology analysis, and also the convention, to make a big convention with them to see how the alphabet, how the letters we needed to choose to represent the sound. You know, of course, we use most of the Portuguese letters to represent the sound, to represent also the sounds of in Hupda, more or less the same letters, to not have a big problem with them. You know, not to use like Russian alphabet and the Portuguese sounds. You know, more or less to have the same. That the Hupda language be represented with the graphic, the alphabet, as like more similar to the Portuguese. And that takes 4 years to do that. And we work with 20 Hupda from 12, I think it was 12 villages. I choose 20 people from 12 villages to be together every year. That is a lot of money to put all together, because they don't live very close. Let's go to, no, sometimes 2 or 3 days of travel to be. And I work with a linguist that came to stay with me there, and we worked together, and we did the convention of the alphabet of the Hupda. Then we start all the process of literacy work with the Hupda. And that was really interesting because, you know, the Tucano, the Piratapuia, the Arawak people, all of them have the language, also written language. And the Hupda was the last to have a language that was really difficult. Maybe sometimes it's no, we because it's only the Tucano have the language written. It'd be very difficult for us to have our. But when you manage to have the language, the Hupda language, with a dictionary, with everything, the people was very proud, very, very proud to have the book. And we spend a lot of money to do the dictionary. Let me go to pick up one to show you. I can send to you in PDF, but is the dictionary.
I would like to receive. Wow.
Okay, and well, I decided to have a very good edition, you know, and that is very, very good edition. You can. It's very hard. It's very difficult to take the code, you know. It's very nice also, you know. It's very nice in 2 colors, and you have the color of each Hupda language and the explanation of the word. Yeah. They're very, very nice. And they are very proud to have a dictionary. This was very expensive for us to do this kind of production. but was very, very good for them. Then we start to have the school. That was the first step. The second step was forming the in French there is two different words, but in English.
How is the word in French?
No, in French is instituteur. Instituteur.
Institute.
Not the professor.
It's like a professor, but
primary school. All primary school have instituteur.
Okay.
You know, the primary school. And now we start in 2006. We start to work with the 20 who did with us the different to transform them in schooling professor, you know.
Yes.
They started the school. So that was very nice too, because they start to have today that was now is set up by the municipality. The municipality took place. What we start as a little project with money from different NGOs to give money to us to do that. Today is institutionalized in the school, the Hubda school. They have also today the school there. That was the beginning. The beginning was like that. Sometimes I'm go there to speak with them, to make some progress, to look some evaluation of how they are doing now, and which kind of needs they need to, what they need, they want to have more to improve the scholarization, the schooling process. But it's when I talk, I'm very proud also to start this work. Of course, that's not because I was anthropologist that I started work, but I have some kind of commitment with these people that ask me to do that. But it's not because I was anthropologist, because I have a good friendship ties with them that make me more easy to do the project with them. And that was there's a lot of things that I did in terms of the education, formal education there.
This is what I love about sociologists and anthropologists in Brazil, that they were the first ones that I, because I'm Brazilian, the first one that I have heard about their works, because everyone that I meet and that I know that they are sociologists or anthropologists, they are very active in their society and also with the people they work with. And here in Israel, we talk all the time, and it is a important talk about power relations in the field, and how one, like a male white man, go to a tribe in where indigenous people live, and what he can do, what he cannot do. And when you talk to me about doing this work, so I first of all, I really like it because I see a great importance in doing it and preserving the language and also the etymology of this ethnic group. But also I wanted to ask you, what do you think about those power relations and what you have seen and what you have heard of other anthropologists, what you heard of in the university you teach at?
Yeah, as I told you, when we work with like the indigenous people in Amazon or the other place, we have we establish a very nice contact, and we like to improve their life. They give them the possibilities that we have in our world that they can use there, and that they can also develop for themselves what they want. That was the kind of work that we promote there. and I'm still working. I'm still working there, and I'm still traveling there, and I have contact with them, and they ask me a lot of things, you know, a lot of things. Even in this situation now, avec, you say, WhatsApp. Sometimes I receive the information about the WhatsApp, what's happened there. This pandemic moment also was very difficult for them, but for us was also difficult, and they needed now. For example, there are so many problems about them because all the situation, the Brazil politics is not very good for the minority people here in Brazil, and also for indigenous people. They are not considered as indigenous people, as a kind of have the same culture, but the people here in Brazil look their land, because there is some mines, and take out the Indian people from there and take the land for do mines, you know, gold diggers, and a lot of things that what's happened there, you know, and this is very difficult. There are many problems, and if we are anthropologists in that area, you need to have sites. It's important to have sites to establish the relationship and to stand with the indigenous people in terms of in defend the rights. They have rights. They have rights as a people, and they have rights as original people here. They were here before us, and they have rights. That was also we try to show not only to them, but also to show the others about rights to the school, rights to the health, rights to have a lot of information, and therefore to survive in this world. Okay, and that's one thing important in terms of the work we did, the schooling process, because they have rights to have the school that they want to have, not the impose one type of school, and we give to them the opportunity to choose. That's important.
Yes, this is really important. They choose how they want to appropriate this kind of institution, because school is an institution, and when you make them study things that the state tells them to study, there is a power relation in this institution. So yes, I read about it. It's really beautiful that in Brazil there are those kinds of educations and schools, and it's really, I'm waiting to see it happen here in Israel. Okay, so Renato, I think we are talking like an hour plus. So I want to thank you about the interview, and you telling us about the Hupda and the Tucanos and all the relations and your work as an anthropologist. I hope that your work will be available not only in Portuguese and French, but also in English and Hebrew and Spanish and everything we can do.
It's very nice to have some of my articles translated to Hebrew. That would be interesting.
Yes. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeniné, for everything. That was very good. And I'm open. If you want to explore one of the topics that I've talked here, just to stop and do a Zoom about one of the topics that's important. For example, the films, the visual anthropology, the cinema. You know, the indigenous film that I did with the indigenous people. This is important. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.